12 persons, affect 3.2 million Nigerians. And later on the show, NMA says 50 medical doctors leave Nigeria every week. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Dotun Oladipo. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. A biblical prediction that the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer appears to be playing out in Nigeria. Severance packages of 6.345 billion naira have been earmarked for President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, state governors, and other political office holders after leaving office in 2023. The figure will which also covers the severance gratuity of ministers, commissioners, national and state assembly members, as well as special advisors, but special assistants are not included. The breakdown of the package indicates that the federal government will pay 3.339 billion naira, while states will pay 60.06 billion naira. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Ekiti State branch of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Joel Akinola, said it's not right for political office holders to receive huge severance allowance, which when states are not paying pensions to retired workers regularly. So, who should they cater for today? Who should they cater for more, the rich or the poor? Now, you know, we have the media, we have a way of sensationalizing this thing. When I saw it this morning, when I saw 63.45 billion naira, I thought it was just for President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Osinbajo, and, you know, so it was when I read the breakdown, this is not perhaps, but then you understand the state of the finance of the nation when pensioners are languishing and dying every day after serving their fatherland.
You know, I think it's illegal for people to receive severance packages or pensions twice in a lifetime. If you've worked, you worked in the civil service, you left, you rose to the civil service, you became a PAMSEC, you rose through the ranks, became PAMSEC, you were paid a hefty severance package, gratuity, pensions and all. You then got into the National Assembly, served the country, and you and your aides, so they are entitled to 3 aides. They all will get severance package. And given the rate of turnover, especially in the National Assembly, I mean, we are wasting money.
Some will just go there for 4 years and
they won't come back.
Don't come back.
They won't come back and they will still get severance package. If that person after a few years is back, he still gets it. That is why people would rather die than not get into the National Assembly. When you heard of that big sum of money, the reason it's so big is because of the National Assembly, and there are many. Because what actually goes to President Buhari and Osinbajo, how did I put it? Okay, the president will get a severance package of 10.54 million. Yes, which is 300% of his annual basic salary.
10 million.
Yes, 10.54. Osinbajo will get 9.9 million. So it's not as if something out of the ordinary has been is going
when
to
you
be
just
paid
hear
to
that
them.
figure, you just
But cumulatively, when you had 63 billion, you will be wondering, why is this? What is everything? What goes to their aides? What goes to the legislative aides of the National Assembly members? Everything has been put together.
including commissioners.
Yes, of states, ministers. Because each minister will get 6.8 million. It is nothing to ministers who award contracts and all that. What they get as kickback or somebody just trying to show appreciation is not this kind of money. So, you know, it's not this kind of money, except we just want to deceive ourselves. It's not this kind of money. a minister can give you a life-changing contract that totally transforms your life. You make your money and all that. So then you want to give him 6.8 million, and there is so much noise. No, it is the sum total of what comes in, into this whole severance package business that is high, not what goes to the individuals. Because from what I've seen, there is not, the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission has not done anything out of the ordinary. And those that were left out, you can understand, because they are following the law. Those recognized by the law, they get what is due to them. So,
Dr. Is there any big deal with this 63.45 billion naira, and not forgetting that pensioners that sometimes that they get? I have a mother. She's a retired pensioner from the Lagos State government, and but at the time she retired, I think they might have increased her pension now to like 20,000 naira per month. But as there was a time she was getting 10,000 naira, and they used to do I'm Alive, and everybody would queue, and they would go there as early as 5 a.m. Do you understand? And sometimes if you ask her that, okay, I'm going to pay you this for the year, cumulatively, I will pay you for the year. She say, no, this is my entitlement.
They are very emotional about it.
They don't joke with it.
Unfortunately, that's the way it is. When my mom also retired, it got to a point. I had to tell her to stop going to Abuja by road. She had to fly 3 times from Lagos.
To go and appear.
To go and appear. She had to drive from Malaysia to Lagos and then go to Abuja. And that much was their money. But like we said, they believe it's their money. So they must enjoy it. But the challenge here, which people are talking about, especially the civil servants, and then their unions by extension, is this 60.06 billion. Some states don't earn it as monthly revenue. And as such, they can't even meet the needs of their state. And like BQ said, why are we giving them the money if they don't need it in reality? Can't we put it into a better use? Can't we see how we can? We are talking about this at at a time there is a plan also to increase the salaries of political office holders, the president, the vice president. And people begin to ask, this, for a lot of people that is holding political office, for those who are outside government, is supposed to be service to the country. And then the country is now the one serving you. It's a huge problem. And like a lot of us will point out, with what we are even looking at now, is minimal, it's small, compared to other things that they get as transport allowance, all of this, can we look into all of that? Because that's where you have the chunk of the money. That's where you have the chunk of it. There was a report, for instance, where a government agency spent about 20 billion on travels in 1 year. About maybe some billions also for tea and coffee, for telephone calls. Those are the even now the major issues, not this one that people like BQ said, how much is the whole of this money when you break it down? But can we begin to look at cost of governance as a whole?
You know, it was even suggested that this lawmaking business at the
should be
national level
part-time.
Should be part-time.
Should be part-time.
These guys, a lot of these guys don't need this money. They've made money, they were governors, they made so much money. Some of them are stealing us blind. But we still gave them a chance, and we are giving them money that they don't
need.
Honestly,
let's people can make use of.
This is not money to a lot of senators. Honestly, 6 points. The devil is in the allowances that they earn, and they will never tell you. I think I once mentioned the case of a senator who was brought on live television, and they then asked him that, okay, tell us your salary. The man froze.
Because
That salary thing, what they earn, their package, you know, what the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission pays is statutory. Everyone knows that. But the allowances,
the things that go on underneath that we don't get to
that
hear.
is the issue. Nobody outside of their own caucus, or our people, they will say caucus, outside of their own caucus, nobody knows what they earn. The closest hint to the take home of a senator that we got was when Shehu Sani made that statement.
Yes.
And he incurred the wrath of his colleagues. And that was not everything. What he actually said was not
Edited version.
Yeah, it was the edited version.
I have my first caller. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Good evening, Babajide, Mr. Dotsu and Ayo.
Good
Go ahead,
evening.
please. Good evening.
Yes, what I'm talking about is that is there no way we can consider the issue of unicameral representation in Nigeria? Because when you see, in the Senate, you have over about close to 90 senators. Then in the
109, 360, you remember?
I think we talked about the president of Senegal that scrapped the Senate.
Yes, the unicameral system.
He scrapped the Senate and nothing happened.
Yes.
The heavens did not fall.
They
So
changed
I
the
think
law
that
of the country.
and if we want to tell ourselves, because we are getting broke
By the day.
broke by the day. If there is a word, we are getting broker and broker every day. If I can be permitted to
No,
use
it's,
that word,
why not?
you know, and that should push us to do what is right, to cut our clothes according to our size.
And that is even the major reason why we can't amend our constitution, on which we spend about $1 billion every year trying to amend.
And we are refusing to do
And we are refusing to
out of
amend it.
selfishness.
It's
Every
selfishness.
time we amend
Out of selfishness, we will not
Everybody
Always
wants
a
it. Is
committee
Why do they
led by
deceive
the
themselves that they
deputy-
want to amend it?
Yes,
When they will not do
Senate
it.
President, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives,
They
both arm of the
they
House,
definitely
come
know
together,
it
it's
can't
public
work.
hearing
This
across
generation of
geopolitical
politicians.
zones.
This generation of Nigerian politicians is the most selfish ever. I saw the deputy Senate president lamenting that the issue of autonomy to the local governments who has been frustrated at state level. And honestly, I expected that.
what else will you
They
expect?
will not let it happen. They will not. 25 states
Just because that account,
frustrated.
they pay that account, they pay whatever they want to pay to the local government. They pay it to
They don't
them.
want this.
And the chief
local government
executive
to
will
have
always
that
sit down.
independence.
Yes.
They don't want that independence for them.
All right. From there, from pension now, we take you to Rivers APC. It is said that those who fail to learn from history are bound to repeat it. So it has been for the All Progressive Congress, APC, in Rivers State. A federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt nullified all primary elections conducted by the All Progressive Congress in the state over unlawful exclusion of some party members as delegates to the primaries. The same fate befell the party in the 2019 election, but the leadership of the APC in the states has described the judgment as another ploy to stop the party from participating in the 2023 general election, saying it is dead on arrival. Jude, my question to you is that who wants to frustrate the River APC? Because they've not had any record of winning in that state, one. Number two, in 2015, they didn't win an election there. In 2019, we don't have anything that says they won the election. They were not allowed to sit for the election there. They keep making the same mistake as a result of intra-party crisis, protracted intra-party crisis. And
The leadership has not been able to solve
yes, and the protagonists there, they are so stubborn. Nothing. They will go to court. Magnus Abe was there. This person was there. They will go to court, get to Supreme Court. Nobody settle out of court. No, Rivers APC will never settle out of court. And one strong man will sit down there till everything goes the same way, goes south.
Okay. In actual fact, this matter had been filed this matter was filed by Magnus Abe's people. Before it defected to
SDP.
No, let's face it. If someone says, look, you will not be anything in this party as long as I am here, and that person told you the first time, make sure that your members were not registered, were not permitted to, were excluded as delegates. What are you going to do? This was the source of the quarrel that first time. That look, your members, we will exclude your members. There are certain things that you can't simply do and get away with it. People will approach the courts. Now, this time, they were excluded again. I remember that time when Magnus Abe's spokesperson was complaining that, see, they've done this thing again, and the party appears always to support Rotimi Amaechi. Now, by the time this judgment came, the people who filed it had already left for the Social Democratic Party. Some of them are even contesting their candidates in the Social Democratic Party.
Magnus Abe is the candidate.
Is the governorship candidate there. SDP. But you see, the will of justice grinds slowly in our country. So this thing had been filed a long time ago. Judgment just came.
And it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You have to still obey the
same person might still be affected. As in Toyeko that was affected, that was stopped from contesting.
Yes, they have said they are going to appeal.
That's the way it got to the Supreme Court.
If they appealed, if they are unable to convince the appellate court that, look, that this primary elections fulfill all righteousness, it was not done in contravention of the Electoral Act and INES guidelines, Toyeko will get an opportunity to contest, But the truth is, even Toyeko has been, his re-nomination by Amaechi angered a lot of people. Go and see the number of people that defected once Toyeko was re-nominated. Today, there are people, and someone like Wike, you look at Wike, you'll see him as a rabble-riser, he has a very good political brain.
Strategist.
So he's thinking, see somebody, I sat with him gisting for almost 2 hours. So I can assess his political brain. Just gisting with him, throwing some questions at him, he will not know what I'm asking and all that. So this man is reaping bountifully from the crisis in the APC.
He has muzzled the APC in that.
I'm sure when we mention Chidi Lloyd, his name rings a bell. These were people who put their lives on the line for Rotimi Amaechi. Today, Wike he has wooed Chidi Lloyd to his side. He's now even a local government chairman in Rivers State. How about Fine Bone? Fine Bone was the spokesperson. He was seen as the face and voice of the opposition in Rivers State. Everybody talks about him. Fine Bone. Today, Fine Bone is a commissioner designate. Somebody who has served as a CC spokesman for many years. They did the screening for commissioner, 18 commissioners. We did this screening. Fine Bone was screened and he's been sworn in as a commissioner designate. Tomorrow, don't be surprised if we hear that Fine Bone has become the commissioner for information in Rivers State, because that looks like Wike's agenda all along. He's been able to emasculate the APC, decimate them, go for the people who are strong there. Those of them who are still left, a lot of them are in, they've gone to SDP
now.
Those who have not gone, they are hungry that, okay, we have suffered for the party, we've been here for so long, but it's Toyeko that you went and brought. Even from the Kalabari, they say there are still many people that Amaechi could have chosen, but Amaechi's own style is, Amaechi has an issue with you. It will make you realize he's not a politician in my view. Amaechi is at best a technocrat. Give him a ministry, he will run it for you successfully. He will make his mark.
What he did in the
politician must be flexible.
Transport sector, yes.
Politician must be flexible. Rotimi, if Rotimi is quarreling with you, if you are holding the oxygen that he needs to stay alive, if you are holding it, he will not negotiate with you. If you are holding the oxygen that he needs to stay alive,
He would rather die.
Yes. Look see what has happened.
That's
now.
what
Couldn't they have resolved?
2019, they pulled the house,
And
they pulled the roof.
Ayo, you know, during that 2019, just before the election, APC was in a strong position. They were quite strong.
Yes.
In fact, they had taken 2 senators out of 3. Remember?
They were strong. Very good chance.
You know?
The same thing in 2015.
So now,
very strong when they ran with the Dakuku Peter side.
Today, Rivers State is almost like a one-party state.
Is it almost or a one-party state?
No, let's even be modest. Maybe let's consider Jide don't come again. You know, they will say it's not from our state, but it's. But I was there and I asked questions. It's almost like a one-party state. So a lot of the strong people have left Amechi. How can you then deliver for the APC there?
Now we've seen precedent that, look, when they got to that level that they were about to conduct their primary election, as at that time, we told them on this program, said, look, this is the time to be circumspect, that you have to do it well. Internal democracy must work, and must work well, so that the court of law would not be used as an avenue to, squander the ambition of your party to be represented in the election. This is what is playing out again. These parties stand the risk because if this thing should get to the Supreme Court, and I'm sure before February next year, before the election, it will get to the Supreme Court. We'll be here talking why Rivers will not participate, APC will not participate in the Rivers election.
You know what is very amazing and shocking to me in all of this? Is that Rotimi Amechi himself is a product of such development within his then political party, PDP. I'm sure you remember he came into power. It was via the court because things were not done properly in his party then. That's the one that shocks me most. Because he should have learned that no matter how hard you try, if those who are against you can recall history, they're going to use it against you. That was what worked for him. He went to court based on the failure of the PDP then to adhere to internal democracy. And he took it. So why is he doing the same thing in this same system? And I think that's where I'm most disappointed.
Honestly.
Because he should have learned.
Is it that elders in this party should have not wade into this?
There are people, I've said this before, there are people who think that they are bigger than the APC. And the actions of the leadership of the party appear to strengthen their resolve and make them believe that, look, they can do anything and get away with it. The party almost always sides the stronger or the bigger politician, even if he's doing something against
the interest of the party,
against the law, against the electoral act. We've seen that, and the party has paid heavily for this. A lot of the states that PDP took from them, it was based on crisis. When you make people unhappy, they live in anger. President Buhari warned before the primaries that, look, let's not do anything to push popular candidates out of our party to join another party. That it happened in the past and we lost election. He warned, but clearly they did not listen.
Just imagine what would have happened in the presidential primaries. When going into that primary, some people were already saying the president is supporting this person.
Yes. Okay. And that person was not the most popular.
Okay. We'll quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this breather.
The federal government, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, announces the availability of COVID-19 and childhood vaccines nationwide. With the disturbing increase in reported cases of COVID-19 infections across Nigeria, protect yourself and loved ones from the harmful virus by getting vaccinated. Visit the nearest public or private health facility and mass vaccination sites today to receive the first, second, or booster doses of COVID-19 vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines are given to persons 18 years and above, including pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers, while childhood vaccines are given to children from from birth to 5 years for protection against polio, hepatitis, yellow fever, measles, meningitis, and other vaccines-preventable diseases. All vaccines are free, safe, and effective. For inquiries, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122.
This message is from NPHCDA in partnership with the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from MacArthur Foundation.
I invite you to join me and my host, the Governor of Imo State, His Excellency Governor Hope Uzodimma, at this conference and the retreat for senior police officers.
Theme: the imperative of a Nigeria police strategic plan for peaceful elections.
The government of Imo State is pleased to host the conference and the retreat for senior police officers in Imo State.
Special guest of honor, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Special guest, all state governors, distinguished senators and honorable members, Minister of Police Affairs and other honorable ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, National Security Advisor, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Chief of Defense Staff, Service Chiefs and Heads of Security Agencies, Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, Chairman and Presidential Candidate of all political parties and civil society organizations.
I welcome President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, the Inspector General of Police, senior police officers, and other special invited guests to Imo State.
Date 30 February 2022. Venue: Landmark Event Center, Owerri, Imo State. Time 10 a.m.
Join us.
Thank you for staying with us. Nigeria is at crossroads regarding the cause of severe flooding ravaging many parts of the country and how to tackle it. President Muhammadu Buhari has blamed the flooding as well as encroaching desertification in the northern part of the country on the negative fallout of climate change. Meanwhile, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, has said the flood has so far killed 612 Nigerians and affected over 3.2 million others, out of which 1.4 million persons have been displaced. The minister confirmed that the distribution of relief materials to affect 21 states affected by the ravaging flood has begun. Let's share the updates about the disaster by TVC News Moyo Thomas with you. However, it appears some Nigerians have even resigned to fate regarding floods ravaging their communities. A viral video has surfaced on social media showing people cooking on water. Let's share the video with you.
Floods have wrought serious havoc on some communities, bringing unimaginable hardships on their inhabitants. A situation report by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development as of 24th October put the number of persons affected by the 2022 floods at about 3,219,780. And out of this number, about 1,427,370 persons have been displaced. The death toll has now increased to 612 people from the 500 deaths recorded about a month ago. The ministry has swung into action providing relief materials, including food and non-food items, especially for people that have now become homeless due to the situation.
As of 24th October 2022, a total of 21 states have received relief items so far. And these states are Abia, Adamawa, Anambra, Bayelsa, Ekiti, Enugu, FCT, Imo, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Kwara, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Oyo, Sokoto, Taraba, and Yobe states.
Nigeria already faces dire food insecurity from the nefarious activities of bandits and the impact of COVID-19. This has now been compounded by the floods. The report says 176,852 hectares of farmlands have now been partially damaged, and another 392,399 hectares of farmland is totally damaged. In spite of all the negative news, the minister commends the effort of communities in search and rescue operations.
We received reports that in 144 local government areas, local communities worked together to provide first response to their families and neighbors.
She assures that efforts to mitigate the impact of the flood will continue and says daily updates will be made available in the ministry's and NEMA's official website. Moya Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.
I thought my producer is going to show me that the video that went that's gone viral. People, cooking on water. Jide, very difficult situation, and we won't stop talking about this situation except the federal government, and we see that the sufferings of people, these people that are displaced, they are really taken care of, because it's not something we can play politics with now.
No, it's not. We didn't think this thing would be this bad, but the truth is, it's a very, very big problem now. It's a very, very big problem, especially when you realize that we've not seen the full effect of global warming. We are only just beginning to feel the effect of it. And all the warnings over the years that were disregarded, we can see how it's biting back now. The world took the warnings lightly. You can see how it's biting back. How do we save our people? The Bayelsans have confirmed now that more than 100 of their people have died. In Jigawa State, more than 200 people have died. So even these 612 that we have been told have actually died in our country, I believe it's just a conservative figure.
Of course.
And that's what usually happens when officially you are told that 612 persons have died. You know that a lot more have actually died. That is the tradition here. We don't usually mention the exact number of the dead. So that's to tell you the extent to which this flood is destroying lives in our country. People have lost their farms. They don't know where to go. They've lost their homes. They don't know where to go. There has to be very strong remedial actions that government can take. Government also must find a lasting solution, an approach that is more holistic than what we see. Because right now, beyond giving people succor, giving them beddings, giving them grains for them to eat, we need measures that can stop this disaster from happening. Early warning systems have to be activated so that, look, we can relocate our people before floods come to take their lives. We can take them to higher ground. That's how it should be. Let's have these methods in place that will ensure that this sort of problem, if it happens again, the effects won't be this grave. The way it is, it's like we were never warned at all. And I can recall that we were warned that this thing was coming. It's just the way, it's just our response to it has just not been good enough.
And the effect of this might just be, it will affect farming. Already, the flood has affected a lot of produce.
Well, that's the way it is. For me, I think what BQ has said is what we should pay attention to. What are our long-term plans? I read a report where the president gave the Minister of Water Resources 3 months to give him a plan. We have been told that this heavy rain won't stop until mid-December.
Mid-December?
Yes, so it means, it means then that in the short term, what are we doing? Can we work on something quickly? What should be of benefit to us has become a disaster. We keep talking about farming all year round. This is an opportunity for us. How many dams do we have? Even the Cameroonians, from what government officials have said, told us that as they built their own Lagdo Dam, we should also build our own dams to contain water. What have we done? This can allow us to do irrigation farming. It can allow a lot of things. Rather, what we are having is this water destroying farms, rendering...
At the time of harvest.
Harvest, period.
It's a very wicked time to
and you know, this is the kind of things that will give rise to the social media to go gaga with different versions of some people already saying, well, maybe government allowed all of this to happen in order to cover up the fact that the money said to have been put into agriculture was not actually put in there. You know, all kind of insinuations. But these are things that we should, as a country, work on. Can we dam this water? Can we put it to better use? I passed through Ashedire the other day, and only one channel out of 4 was opened, and that bridge was almost filled to the brim. I'm wondering what will happen, because now we've been told very clearly that Lagdo Dam has not been opened in Cameroon. That what we're having now is just our own natural rate. What happens if Lagdo Dam is opened? Lagdo Dam that flows across about 1921 states in Nigeria, gets even up to Bayelsa, which is already in trouble now, gets to Jigawa, where so many people have died.
Okay, I think my producer is saying that viral video is ready, showing that people cooking on water. Trust our people. By hand. We can endure any situation, no matter how much.
We have to survive. We are very resilient.
Anyhow.
That's why when Nigeria,
that's why our people excel abroad.
Yes.
This the kind of spirit. Once you can survive.
What is it that they've not gone through here?
What are you saying?
You know?
They say if you want to make call within this country,
that's why you know that popular saying by Citizen Jones. You say, I've seen 99. Who is 100? Nigerians have seen 99. Who is 100?
And you know what? One of the things you mentioned about government advisory that people should move to higher ground.
Pounding yam. That's
that water. Yes.
Still pounding
when
yam.
You tell people
cook delicious soup.
when you tell people like this to move to higher ground, where are they going to move?
Of course,
to?
They have to eat now.
They must eat.
Must you eat yam? Have you pounded yam?
That's their favorite food, so they have to cook it.
They must eat.
What will the children eat? Look, some of them, they create platform and sleep right on the water.
Of course, they do that.
Not everybody can go to all these IDP camps.
Apart from that, even how many camps are there?
How many camps?
How many camps are there?
You look at
and how close to your house is the camp?
That so many of their local governments are affected. How many camps are there? That's no way.
I think Edo was talking about 10 camps or so. Or was it Delta? And then you ask yourself, 10 camps, where are they scattered? And in that state, you have 25 local governments, meaning that not even all the local governments affected by this flood as a camp. So when you are telling people to move to higher ground,
the lift can't reach all of them.
No. When you are telling people to move to higher ground, you must provide the higher ground. I can't be staying in a house where I can't even afford to pay rent, for instance, and you are telling me to vacate it and go to higher ground. Where is the higher ground? Who is going to provide it?
Who will give me shelter?
Who will give me shelter? And that's why people keep staying in those houses until the flood comes.
And we're looking at the possible...
And the flood is very slow in receding. That's the biggest problem.
Food scarcity that might come with this after.
That one, there's nothing we can do about it.
Nothing.
Bleak.
Rice, especially rice. You know, the problem with rice is that you need several months for it to germinate, for it to reach harvest time.
Right.
Need at least, I think, 9 months or so. Now, it's not, with what is going on now, we can't say, oh, once the season, once this water recedes, you can quickly plant rice again. No, it's not like corn. It's not like corn. Corn, as I had Obafemi Awolowo say in the learning one day, you can actually grow corn 3 times
in a year
in Nigeria. We have the capacity, and the climate is favorable for us to grow it 3 times in a year. But you can't grow rice 3 times a year.
Even in Lagos here, where you have some of these wetlands, even right here in around Magodo, you have corn there all year round. All year round. That's why I said this water that has become a disaster to us is something we can actually put to good use. And it doesn't require that this minister, who was ordered by the president to produce a report in 90 days, should be told. I don't know why it is always the fact that we respond after
the act.
We are always doing that. It's like we are never prepared.
NIMET warned about flood too. We have to give them credit. They were warning. They listed all the states that will be affected. But what has our response been? Because I'm not looking at response in terms of, oh, it has happened, let's go and give them relief.
That's not it.
We have to relocate people. We have to prepare people's minds for what is to come. All these people in the hinterland, how many of them even had NIMET warning? But as a government, you can't wait for these things to strike, kill our people before we start responding. We have to move faster than that.
All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, we'll talk more.
Good afternoon, Oga. Now you be the landlord.
Yes, Nami.
Oga landlord, me go need 1 room for this your house. So.
Okay, sure you get work where you do.
Yes, I be nurse.
You don't go the owe me be that now.
Now how much be your rent, safe?
Not just 90,000 naira. Wait, this guy, where you come from, Seth?
Oga, I come from Akamata.
Akamata? No talk am again. My spirit and Akamata people know they ever join.
Oga, what's happen now?
Come over for my compound. Now so baba thing that people sabi do for that Akamata. Come over here.
Haba, Papa, what did this innocent girl do you now? Now people like you, they spoil Nigeria, Papa.
I think you don't see them now. My people, they talk, say jollof rice, we dey for bottom pot today, go dey top of cooler tomorrow. As I take need you now, so you self need me. Because now one mama we get, we be Nigeria. Make we love ourselves, because now only together we go fit to make our country better for us and our children them. One heart plus one love equals better Nigeria. Now the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government, they bring in this message.
Showing up in style inspires great confidence. IVM G5T appeals to class.
Time is of the essence. With IVM Kappa, business and meetings are always on the go.
Fun time with the family. Thank you to IVM Kingdom. IVM carries always stealing the show. Isn't she beautiful? Influence defines a great leader. IVM Seriki is Africa's commute king. Strong, reliable, and durable. With the concept of regionalization, Innocent Vehicle is committed to satisfying its customers with producing their everyday dream cars.
IVM, pride of African.
Thank you for staying with us. It's too late to cry after a captured bird escaped from the cage. We're in that situation regarding brain drain in the health sector. The Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, is lamenting that about 50 medical doctors leave Nigeria weekly, 50 weekly, in search of the proverbial greener pasture abroad. Speaking at a function in Abia, the national president of NMA, Roland Ojima, lamented the poor working conditions of doctors in Nigeria and challenged governments at all levels to fix hospitals if the trend is to be reversed. Jide, we've been on this case, and the most affected sector is the Nigerian Medical Association, as in doctors, NMA, both residents and specialists. They're all porting. The next
today there are more than
opportunity
10,000
to jackpot.
There are more than 10,000 Nigerian doctors licensed in the UK. More than 10,000.
More than 10,000 Nigerian doctors licensed in the UK.
Everybody, they are rushing to the UK. Even in 2020, during the time of COVID, when they were not hiring foreign doctors, more than 700 still left Nigeria for the UK.
And when it was dangerous to move.
So between 2016 and 18, we lost 9,000 medical doctors to the UK, the US, and Canada. The statistics are really frightening. In 2021, 932 doctors moved to the UK. Whereas when this thing just started, it was just like 200 in a whole year. Well, you have seen an incremental migration to the UK by our medical personnel. Now, even nurses and midwives, they want them over there. They are highly sought after over there. More and more Nigerian nurses and midwives are also moving outside of our country. What the NMA just said, that 50 are leaving every week.
Every week.
It should bother us. You know why it should bother us? The medical colleges in our country put together, including the private ones. There are some good private medical colleges in our country, including the one in Ekiti, owned by that old man. They produce, on the average, between 3,000 to 3,500 a year.
And the one from government schools, they're highly subsidized.
Yeah, it's easy to train them. You know, it's cheap to train medical doctors here, but they are good. But my concern is, if we are churning out 3,000 to 3,500 a year, the figures will not always be the same in a given year. And more than 900 will leave for UK alone in 1 year.
Even from this figure, it means 200 living. It means 200 living every month.
Yes.
Times 12, that's 2,000.
No, that is the thing. There was a particular survey that I saw that showed over 200 left in a year. Let me see. Okay. Between December 2021 and May 2022, 727 Nigerian doctors left for the UK alone. You know, by the time we talk about the US, we talk about Canada. We talk about
Saudi Arabia,
UAE, or even Australia. Some of them are going as far as Australia.
Qatar also.
So it's just a frightening reality that we are facing. You are bringing out these people, but they don't want to work here. There was another survey that showed that 8 out of 10 medical doctors, fresh people who just got their MBBS, that they interviewed, 8 out of 10 said they don't want to work in Nigeria. So this is how bad it is. And we just cannot, the base salary, when you get to the UK, the base salary is £4,000. And so pounds is around 880 now. Abi?
Yes.
Around 880 to
4,000 pounds will give you a month. That will give you over 2-3 million.
For 3.2.
3.3 million.
Who has that here in the
3.3 million a month.
So why would they want to stay? The opportunities for improvement of their lives are over there, even for research and to get better, to be more knowledgeable on your job. A lot of them is not simply about the money, just career advancement. They want
security.
Yes. There are many reasons why people are leaving our country.
Future.
Even in TVC here, many people are planning to jackpot now.
And the number of people that have jackpot already.
Yes. Some are just waiting. They are biding their time. They are waiting. They are just waiting. In the new year, you may see more people move. In my department alone, 3 persons now have gone to the UK to study. In my department alone. And it happened within a short time. I've not replaced them. You understand?
Succession.
And I know even technical, other development people have left. It's a national problem. But we should be worried about the delivery of healthcare services.
I'm telling you.
If doctors are living
I'm telling you. And if you see how much these people are raising to leave the country, we are talking the region of 8-10 million.
Yes,
for the family to leave the country.
One of the areas
to pay school fees.
We should also be concerned about, from what I heard, in the banking sector, IT guys are leaving now in droves.
That's why a particular bank, a particular bank that you mentioned one time,
yes,
every Friday they have problem. It's just network failure. I don't want to mention.
But do you know that? But do you know
why they say they are IT guys? They are living in droves. They have problem with their IT. Throughout the weekend, you can't do transfer. You can't withdraw. You can't do anything in that bank.
Bank. They go there and they went and
they are having problem with their IT guys.
There were so many that they set up a WhatsApp platform for themselves in Canada, and more, with that communication and
I was even told one of the things that the banks are doing now is to tell these guys, if we could work during COVID remotely, wherever you go, work for us remotely.
Wow.
Meaning that those who are controlling our systems here
and
in the UK
working for them
and in Canada,
instead of allowing the thing to collapse on their heads.
On their head. So it's even dangerous, because if these guys get into those countries and they decide to tamper with the system here, then the bank is finished. But that's as far as they can go, because you can't buy experience from the market. These guys have the experience, and they are taking it out. They are sought after. The doctors, we are now told, we have 24,000 to 200 million Nigerians.
And if care is not taken,
it's not. It's
24,000
the worst
doctors.
rate in the world.
Over 200 million Nigerians.
The youth around there, they've lost confidence in any form of government in Nigeria right now. And it's difficult for you to just tell them that this is what you want to hear, just because of what they've seen so far.
It's
not encouraging at all.
I was addressing students in Unilag yesterday, and it's the same point that I was making. Look, don't be apolitical. Get involved in politics. People like Awolowo, Zik, they got into politics so early in their lives. There are some people who are part of the NEPU era politics. They are still alive today. People like people like Tanko Yaka said they were in NEPU now. They are still alive. And during their time, they got into politics early. They were in their 20s. They were already in politics. People like Bola Ige, they were in their 20s when they got into politics. Yes, so nothing stops them from also showing interest, because I can see that they've lost interest. Don't even talk to them about. They believe that the country is
gone.
Yes, that the country is gone. That there's no hope for them, and they keep saying, "Oh, the elderly people, they don't want to leave the scene. How can they? Then how can the youth be brought into the picture?" It's just, if it continues like this, even these figures will double.
Honestly, people are going to Cyprus, people are going to Turkey, people are going to
want to stay here.
Countries that you can't believe. Republic of Benin, people are going there.
Vietnam,
Ghana, Vietnam, what do you want to go?
Cambodia, Nigerians are there.
Cambodia. Dotun, thank you for your contribution.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Telling our youth to organize instead of agonizing.
Yes.
And that's our take today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. and join us this Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday by 1:30 p.m. 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of the best reporters on the field,
taking you through as it happened.
The story of sport is often told in numbers. But we don't fall in love with 1:40-91. We don't idolize a 6th round knockout. We don't dream of growing up to be 3-1. Discover the human stories that give meaning to the numbers. Sport Africa from the BBC.
For this same country that generates 4,000 megawatts of power would not give us electricity in this country 24/7, but we can sell to other countries.
You would realize that from our life to our death is controlled by the government. I'll give you an example. You're not born until the government says that you're born. And that's why at birth they issue a birth certificate to you.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, where the black gold continues to flow and fuel Africa's largest economy, where the line between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Oil, gas, politics, development, and community issues all are highly valuable commodities in the Niger Delta. How do they combine, and how can they work together to spawn a new era in the Niger Delta? As he probes deep to analyze issues in the region from angles never before explored, inside the Niger Delta with Mamode Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
In addition to its core functions, the Central Bank of Nigeria has over the years performed some major developmental roles focused on all the key sectors of the economy, including financial, agricultural, and industrial sectors.
Beyond our intervention programs, we are also working to encourage banks and financial institutions to lend from their balance sheets in order to support the growth of critical sectors of the economy, such as agri, MSMEs, and the real estate sector.
Join me, Oluyemisi Dada, as I bring to you weekly news highlights, exclusive stories, in-depth analysis of the monetary and economic policies and intervention initiatives of the Apex Bank. From the CBN, going for growth.
At TVC News, the big news story is happening. We're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and thanks for joining us on TVC News at 6. We begin where a federal high court sitting in Umuahia has ordered the federal government to pay the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, the sum of 500 million naira damages following his illegal abduction and human rights abuse from Kenya. The court also ordered the federal government to return him to Kenya from where he was extradited to Nigeria on the 19th of June 2021. The court, presided by Justice Evelyn Ayandike, insisted that the extradition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya without recourse to the legal process was a flagrant abuse of his fundamental human rights. Justice Ayandike held that the respondent failed to disprove the claims of the applicant that he was arrested, blindfolded, tortured, and chained to the ground for 8 days in Kenya before his extradition to Nigeria. Mr. Kanu, through his special counsel, Aloy Ejimako, had approached the court challenging his extradition from Kenya. The court dismissed the federal government's objections to its jurisdiction and upheld all the reliefs sought by Kanu.
We asked the court to restore Mazin Nnamdi Kanu to the status quo antebellum, to his status as of June 19, 2021. And that prayer was granted. What it means is that the government is now required to take steps to restore Mazin Nnamdi Kanu to Kenya, or if they wish, to his country of second nationality, which is the United Kingdom. And then the next most important relief, as far as we are concerned, is halting his prosecution. So we are happy with the outcome, and we believe that this judgment today has strengthened the previous judgment of the Court of Appeal on 13th October.
And now to our coverage of the ravaging floods in some parts of the country. More respite is coming the way of flood victims in Bayelsa State. This time, former Vice President and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has made a donation of 50 million naira to those gravely affected by the flood. Atiku Abubakar made a donation when he visited an IDP camp in the state. And we'll have more details in this report.
Arriving with an entourage, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is led through the crowd by the Bayelsa State Governor, Doye Diri, into the Oswald Lake Pavilion in Yenagoa to meet with displaced persons taking refuge in the camp. With an initial donation of 50 million naira flood disaster relief fund, the PDP presidential flag bearer assures the IDPs of his support in this most challenging period in the state.
When I see too many of our people in this state of hopelessness, I really get emotional. So if I don't talk to you for long, just understand that I feel what you feel. We have come to share your want, and we have come to share everything that you feel today. And we want to let you know that we will continue to be with you until this temporary situation is brought to an end.
He came prepared. He didn't say he's coming to respond to you later. No. Already giving me the sum of 50 million naira as his donation to all the victims affected by this flood. And we will use it to take care of the IDPs.
With loads of relief materials from the state and other non-governmental organizations arriving at the various IDP camps in Bayelsa, it is believed the people will be well taken care of from the donations.
We have the security at the gates, the volunteer is there, the police is there. We are provided the kitchen. We are making sure that every Bayelsan that have reported here, that have been profiled here, is kept in good condition. Health services are here.
As the flood waters still show minimal signs of receding, the damage to lives and property in the state is yet beyond comprehension.